Welcome to Living a Triggered Life podcast with Keith
and Roxann, presented by The Triggered Project.
Find out more information about The Triggered Project, go to www.triggered1.com.
This is a great day. Roxann, how are you today?
I'm not feeling great, yo.
What's wrong?
I'm just feeling down today. Got a lot on my mind. You know.
Right. And let me just say this for our listeners. Roxann right now has her computer out and she's doing the taxes like right now as we speak. I'm like, you can't focus on the podcast. You got to like.
Can I do both? I can't do two things at once?
Well, from what you told me, multitasking is a little difficult for you right now. So I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We need you to focus on what's happening.
I'm focusing.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure. I'm positive.
Because you're working on numbers right now. You're not working
which is a mindless pain in the butt task, and they're late. This is where you and we're usually on the same path. These are the moments and the places of our relationship when we're taking two different paths.
That's right. That's why we call a man and we say, look, we're going to be late. Right? And he goes, okay.
How late do you want to be?
I'm just saying. Doesn't mean it has to be 5 hours or 15 years late or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Why don't we start from the top? Why are the taxes late?
Because they're late. That's all. But that's not what we're talking about. We're trying to figure out what's going on with you today. That's what we're trying to figure out. What the heck is going on? You've been wanting to fight all day.
Notice how you didn't answer the question?
Right. No, because I'm trying to keep us focused. Sometimes I got to keep us focused.
You can answer the question and then ask your other question.
We'll move into that situation right now. You know what I'm saying? But right now we're trying to figure out what's going on with you because that was the question that I had asked you, and we'll move back into me answering that question.
Why?
We will move back into.
Why can't you move into it right now and then you can move forward?
Because I asked you a question first.
And I answered.
Okay. So I want you to elaborate on it and talk a little bit more about that. Okay. So what's going on for you today, Rox? What's up?
So since you want to talk about this on the podcast.
I mean, this is what we do, Living a Triggered Life podcast. We process the things that happen between us, right? Because we both are, you know what I'm saying, we both get triggered and things like that. And sometimes we process things live. So, you know what I mean? So we're just processing right now. We've done it before.
Yes, we have.
And we worked through that. So why not be in a situation of just, you know, we're talking about where we are as we start this podcast today. So, of course, if you decide that you want to ask me where I am today and stuff like that, I can answer that as well. So, but we're starting with you. So, Roxann, what's going on?
So, I'm
sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
You see, you're such a jerk, man.
My fault.
Sorry. You're such a jerk.
I'm sorry,
this is how it is. This is what my life is like. So I'm feeling some particular way, and then I decide to do something because I'm feeling some particular way, and then Keith spends his time making jokes. And that was a joke. And he does it all the time. This is 2, 4, and 7. He's always making jokes. No matter what it is, there's a joke. Just want to make sure I point that out.
And for the record, the woman told me just like this. The day that I leave you is the day that you can't make me laugh. So there you go. Go on.
It's true.
So just go on.
It's true. You're lucky it hasn't happened yet. So I am feeling really emotionally needy. Mm-hmm. And you are still sick, and I'm not getting my needs met by you right now. I'm not getting the lovey-dovey, the extra attention that I want. I don't know why you're making eyeballs at me.
I'm making eyeballs because some folks who don't know, I've been recovering from a pretty bad case of shingles for the last couple of years.
How do you know it's bad?
Oh, because I heard stories. I only had it for 2 days. I had it for a week.
Everybody's going to be different.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just because you have it 2, 3 days or a week doesn't mean it's not bad. It just means it's a different length of time.
The thing about
you don't have shingles.
Well, I said I was recovering from a bad case. Now, it didn't get into my eyes and things like that because that's on a serious.
Why don't you tell everybody why you're saying it's bad?
So, the reason why, thank you so much, Roxann, for the direction. The reason why I say that it's a bad case is one, because of I still have the firing of pain in my head, but also just the regular flu-like symptoms, no energy, just feeling crappy like all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's going on 2 years next month. So that's why I describe it in that way. But one thing, let's get back to what you were talking about in terms of you feeling needy and things like that, because sometimes that does happen. And we are both Scorpios born 3 days apart. And so sometimes we can both need at the same time. But I definitely try to give you some of that love and attention that you wanted. And it didn't seem like that was enough, so to speak. Not like there's ever enough. But, I hugged you. I held you today and things like that. And validated
After I vocalized my needs, you did. That's correct. Before that. You did not.
Before that, you got some hugs, some rubs and things like that. But like I said, maybe it wasn't to the full extent that you wanted or what you pictured in your head and stuff like that. But,
Who made you breakfast today?
Consuela.
You want to try again?
Consuela is our imaginary helper in the house.
Jokes.
You did. You made me some oatmeal, which I greatly appreciated. Breakfast of champions.
When you got your oatmeal and you came over to the living room, did you say, honey, did you eat? Why are you acting like somebody's putting you to sleep?
I'm not.
Did you say, honey, did you eat? Can I get you anything? Or did you turn around and run back upstairs to the bed to eat your oatmeal?
No, what I did was I got my oatmeal and I went to... I was heating up some tea that I had from yesterday before. And I was running upstairs and I was going to come back and check in with you.
Did you?
Well, I did come back and check. You started yelling at me. That's what happened. And I was like, nah, baby, you can't say nothing to me. And I'm like, baby, I just running upstairs really quickly. I'm going to come back, say something to you and whatever. And then you didn't want nothing to do with me after that. That's what happened.
Did you ask me if I ate?
No.
Did you think to?
Yes.
Why didn't you then?
Because you were done with me. I feel like I'm on the stand. Didn't it sound like I yell? I probably sound like I'm on the stand.
No, you're acting that way and answering that way. That's not me. That's you.
I'm sorry. Wasn't that? Didn't it just sound like SUV real quick? You have another question, Roxann?
So I'm not feeling myself, and not last week, but a couple weeks ago, I was trying to be very active and was taking it easy, walking around the pond. I did it like 5 days a week, which is a lot for me.
We live right near a reservoir, and it's a very nice pond that people like to run around and ride their bikes and let their dogs poop wherever, just to give you all some background. I'm sorry, go ahead, Roxann.
Why is that so important for you to say right now?
It is important in terms of people listen to podcasts to visualize things that happen. So I'm just giving them some background information. Nothing. That's all. And we might have some new listeners who don't know anything about us. So, where we hang out and stuff. So it's important for people to know. So go ahead.
So as a result of that, I've been having some really nagging pain in my knee and behind my knee, and I'm not good with pain in my limbs. I'm not used to it. It's not something that I've experienced in my life, and it makes me feel sad. I just feel fat, and I start diving into poor body image and just all kinds of things, and that's how I'm feeling today.
Okay. Why does it seem like it's so easy when it comes to like getting hurt and stuff like that you feel so sad so quickly, and then all the other stuff comes with it?
Usually because I'm gearing up and feeling energetic and, planning and trying to make some goals and trying to eat and trying to stay on top of things.
Right, but there's other things. It's like everything has to stop, though. You know what I mean? It's definitely a setback and whatever, but in terms of just our interaction around it and you talking about it as if nothing else can happen.
I don't feel like doing anything else. Like, what part of feeling down you don't understand? When you feel down, you don't want to do anything else. You don't have that energy. You don't have that pick up and go. And at my job, I walk a lot. And so I'm constantly, if I'm at work for 8 hours and I'm walking, then I'm constantly dealing with this for 8 hours. and then walk to the car to go home. Like, I'm constantly dealing with this. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand. What don't you understand? It's a constant reminder, and I struggle at work. And I've been trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to be on top of it. But it is taking me off. It's gotten me off the motivation that I had to take care of myself and want to lose some of this weight. Is it difficult for you to understand? Because I feel like, I'm not sure if you're asking questions for the audience or if you're just asking me.
Well, I mean, of course it can be both. But no, it's important for folks to hear about and understand what the process is. I'm actually having a conversation with you and asking you real questions. I'm not asking you questions just to ask you questions.
You know I'm aggravated today.
Well, yeah, you look aggravated. There's no question about it. You look aggravated. No question.
So you know that.
Yeah, you look aggravated. I just don't assume that you're aggravated just because you look aggravated. You know what I mean? Because that's probably not a good situation for me. But it's important for you to talk about these things. You know what I mean? And I understand it. I get it 1,000%.
Well, body image is one of the worst outcomes of being traumatized for me.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what I'm talking to you about, right? And I understand that it's tough and I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Try to support you in the best way that I can around those things. You know what I'm saying? But it is very easy once you feel like you're hurt and some of those other things, that's exactly what comes to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't seem like you see positively out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I got this setback. You know what? I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I'm going to deal with it. You know what? And I'm going to keep it moving.
I should have never been fat in my life. My parents were extremely active as young people. Mm-hmm. Played sports, rode bikes everywhere. They didn't teach me any of that. They didn't take me out to do any of those things. Right. And then they fed me food that wasn't good. And I've struggled with weight. And I just feel like it's a representation of how my needs were met, because there was no reason for me to be overweight. Right. I struggled with it my whole life.
Right. But when I met you, you weren't really that big.
Well, when you met me, I was behaving and thinking that I was the size that I am now, and I actually wasn't. But that's what I thought and believed. And then I did become way bigger than I am now. Mm.
And so do you feel like, when you're starting to feel like this and stuff like that you can't see or you can't feel all the support that you have around you and resources and all these things that you may have that's in front of you, and that those thoughts that you clearly have talked about are just in the forefront of your mind and it's hard to move away from those?
I'm in the dark.
That's deep as hell. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm over here in the light, like trying to pull you over here or pull you out the dark, so to speak, because I can see you. You feel like there's dark around you, but there's nothing but light around you, in that we can see you and I can see you and can feel you and sense you. You know what I'm saying? I have to let you be in the place that you are at certain times and stuff like that, because before I should just pull you out of it. You know what I'm saying? But I try to respect you in the place that you are, but try to get you to understand and, possibly be able to see the light that's all around you, because there is so much light and so much positivity and so much energy that's around you that is positive and productive. You know what I mean? And, you have this issue and things like that, but it is one that is a small blip in the road, because you know what the success and everything else looks like and feels like.
I feel like I'm never going to get back there.
But you will. You got to think about, you've made it this far, right? We've made it this far. Look where we are now. You know what I'm saying? We got this podcast. We're trying to help some other people. We're processing live on what's happening between us as a couple and things. And this is just something else that we're going to work on together, man. It's important that that's the case.
It's hard when you don't have your road dog. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had my road dog really for a couple years.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I understand that. And I understand that, you know what I mean? That's a difficult thing, because of course I haven't been, myself, that's me. She's talking about the road dog. It's hard because I haven't been able to be myself in terms of in that way and be able to support you in some different ways. So you can be able to navigate some of these situations and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm on my way back. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to rock. There's no question about that. And you know that I completely understand it. One thing that would be great, I try to remind you and things, is to draw on the memories of when you were at a place where you were and the things that you were doing. Maybe that just makes you sadder. I don't know. But I try to remind you of those things. I mean, different things help different people. I mean, even in my situation and stuff like that, I try to remind myself of the things that I always like to do and I like to do and try to I'm going to get it. I'm going to get back. I'm not going to feel this pain in my head anymore. I'm not going to feel this flu-like symptoms anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get back at it full time. I'm going to try to exercise every day and play ball and ride my bike and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that means just taking you out and we work out together.
That's how I got hurt the first time. Or the second time, I should say.
No, how'd you get hurt?
Running sprints with you.
Oh, well, no. What happened, though? What happened?
What happened?
No, what happened? Why did you?
I didn't warm up.
Exactly, right? That process of warming up, that process of taking it slow and building is incredibly important. Incredibly important. But this time around,
I did warm up.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't that strenuous.
Well, you did more weight than you've done before, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And the thing about it is, too, which is just difficult when it's working out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I went out and rode my bike yesterday and I said, oh, God. You know, I had to really be honest with myself about where I was. And if I was honest with myself about where I was, there's no way that I was going to push myself to get hurt. There was no way that was going to happen if I'm honestly, seriously honest with where I am in the moment when I start to do something. There's no way that I'm going to try to do something to overdo it as much as I may want to push, right? I may push a little bit, but I'm going to make sure. But if I'm feeling something and stuff like that, I'm going to definitely ice it and stretch and try to do what I can to be able to deal with it, you know? But I understand that sometimes it just happens and I have to be okay with that. Like, okay, this is where I am, but you know what? What can I do? I think that's the one thing that I'm always saying to you is what can you do? And why does it seem like that's a hard thing for you to figure out? Because it's not about what we can't do, it's about what we can do.
Because I don't want to do anything. Just want to sulk.
Right. And the thing about that is, but who's sulking?
What do you mean, who's that?
Who's that sulking? That's you? That's you as Roxann the woman? My road dog, my homie, the person who holds me down? I'm not sure if that's the case. You know what I mean? As we talk about.
I've been holding a lot down. It gets to you after a while.
Mm-hmm. We in this together, though, homie.
I know that.
We in this together. You know, and when it get difficult and whatever, as hard as it gets, the one thing I know is that we doing this together.
Sometimes it doesn't feel that way. And not because you don't want to.
What do you mean by that?
Sometimes I just feel like I'm holding things together on my own.
Right. Well, we've talked about that, though. We've talked about that before, and you feeling like, you know, that you're doing stuff by yourself. That's how you feel, but is that actually what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Is that you isolating yourself in terms of
No. I'm actually holding some things together because you cannot participate. That's actually true. It has nothing to do with if you want to or not. You can't. There are some things that I am just holding together.
And is that not something that we do for each other?
It is, but it's wearing on me. When I need, it's hard. It's hard to ask because you don't feel well.
Right, but you got to ask. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to ask.
Easier said than done.
Right, but regardless of the case of me not feeling well or whatever, you have to ask because sometimes it happens the other way as well. You know what I'm saying? There's certain times when I need, but I know that you cannot handle it or you're not, you know what I'm saying? You don't have the emotional capacity to be able to support me in the way that I would like you to, but I have to be realistic about where you are and I'm like, okay, then I just got to handle it. You know what I'm saying?
It's the amount of time of just handling it. Like, we can play backup for each other. Sometimes one of us needs to take a break and the other one steps in. And that always happens in our relationship.
Right, no doubt.
And you're just not super capable of doing that right now. And I understand that. So I try to carry for as long as I can without asking. Some weeks, and this just happens to be one of them, when like I have this pain in my knee and now it's moved to the back of my knee and my whole freaking knee and leg is buckling when I walk. It's just like I start thinking about time that I've wasted and how much of my needs have not been met. And it gets me down.
But what do you said how much you've wasted time and your needs have, can you talk a little bit more about that?
There's just so much time I've wasted. I could have been skinny and remained skinny, and I messed it all up. I worked really hard. I got to 15 pounds shy of my goal weight, and I messed it up. And now I'm back to trying to get back to that place, and I'm legitimately struggling, and I need to get there. You know, I got some health risk and I just want to get there. I want to feel better about how I feel in my body and I just want to be successful. And I just feel like I've wasted so many years being in that place that I need to be for myself.
Right. Thank you so much for, just sharing, exactly where you are and how you're feeling about it and stuff like that. And the thing about it is you got hurt. You know what I mean? That was something a little bit out of your control in terms of being able to deal with some of that.
I messed it up. I messed it all up though, like really badly. I sort of went to town, started gaining weight, and I got hurt. So it was a combination of things because I could have eaten much better and I would have been okay. And that's not what happened. I only have myself to blame for that.
But aren't you still the person to kind of learn from that situation and move forward and be able to do what you need to do? You act like that's it. Like there's nothing.
No, I'm not acting like that's it. I'm acting like that's what I'm feeling.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. That's how I feel.
Right.
I'm not happy with myself. And when I get hurt and I'm unable to do, for some reason, when I'm unable to do something that I want to do, that has always been a trigger for me in my life. I really struggle when there's something that I want to do. Like, it's like I spent, you know what? It's a long story. But when there's something that I want to do and something gets in the way and I can't do it, it's a trigger for me. It brings me right back to all the stuff that I've dealt with in my life with my dad and whatnot.
Yeah. So you've been listening to the Living a Triggered Life podcast with Keith Maskell.
Roxann Maskell.
And we've been just processing. We've been talking with Roxann today about, just how she's feeling and where she is and how that relates to me and our relationship and things like that. We're going to pick this up next time. We're going to continue to talk to Roxann because I just think it's incredibly important as we process just what's happening. And I'll talk a little bit more about myself. But thank you guys for listening. Remember, you're no longer surviving. You're thriving.
Thank you for listening to Living a Triggered Life podcast with Keith
and Roxann, presented by The Triggered Project.
To find out more information about The Triggered Project, go to www.triggered1.com. And remember, you're no longer surviving, you're thriving, and you learn that.